Hey traders, morning video. I'll try to make it quick. You see the markets coming in this morning, and it really is not a big surprise to me to see this happening on some of these high movers this morning. So basically, I had the market maker move on Apple right here. This was our expected move for the week, and here we are. Price is well above this week's expected move on Apple. Remove that, clear it up a little bit, and so basically, if you measure your expected move and put it on there, we are beyond 100% on that expected move. And if you're an option writer and you're just selling covered calls against Apple, yeah, you're not predicting a move much greater than 100% on any given week on your positioning. And here we are beyond 100% coming in today's session. So it does not, we are seeing some selling pressure in Apple this morning. It's not a huge surprise, and so I do want to point that out. It's an opportunity for some of these market makers to get back a little bit flush from the recent move in Apple for today's expiration. So many of those call writers are underwater, and they basically, it's an opportunity for them to not take so much pain, especially on those covered calls, because even though they're deeply underwater, they're going to be exercised tomorrow. They exercise Saturday, and you know uh, this kind of move here is it's a great to be getting exercise and assigned Apple stock. It's just the fact that the move is so great; they are taking some serious pain on those positions, and that's what some of the things I'm looking at here. Another one, Nvidia this week has been on fire. And you zoom in on Nvidia. Okay, it's not nearly as bad. You're just slightly above your expected move on that one. So if you go on a 5-minute chart, and these market webs are not valid on any time frames other than a daily, so try to ignore these. But we're getting a little bit of selling pressure early this morning on that one as well, because we were slightly above that on the daily. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also, they're trying to bring that back in a little bit. Those are some of the biggest high flyers and the ones that were getting a lot of attention this week. Microsoft was catching a lot of attention this week as well. As you can see, bid ask is coming in a little bit here. Apple is the main one though. So here you are, well above the expected move. You put a uh, uh, fib extension on it. You can see uh, just here we are right at that 100% area. And a lot of fund managers, that is their line in the sand. They rarely ever want to see their option writing positions to explode any higher beyond that in any given week. So you really have to have exceptional momentum in a sector to ever see moves well above that 100% area. We're already at an extreme, and so I do want to point that out, and that's some of the things that I'm seeing today in this early morning session. Now, what I did see yesterday afternoon, rotation. They were positioning themselves in uh, Goldman Sachs, your banks. So they were anticipating, as we're getting here, the bonds coming back in today, and so they were positioning themselves for Goldman Sachs this morning. And so you see Goldman Sachs is well inside the expected move. So basically, they're saying that because we're inside the expected move on these banks, that they got some room here, and it's not going to really cost the um, market option writers a lot of money on today's expiration. So there's room to move here, and it's not going to be detrimental to the option writers. So that's why. Plus, we do have bank earnings week starting next week. I think Tuesday it starts. So they were really. It's a proper place to go. It's not going to. It's going to allow the markets to stay elevated, but it's not going to cause them serious pain. Okay, we're inside of our expected move here on Morgan Stanley. We got a little bit less room here, But I can see them trying to keep it under 80.75 today on Morgan Stanley. That was another one catching action, and then we had Wells Fargo as well catching action yesterday afternoon. And as you can see, well within inside the expected move here. So they got plenty of room here if they want to run it to the upside. Just slightly up this morning, about 20 some cents, 20, 30 cents here on Wells Fargo this morning, but we are catching a slight bid. And along with the banks and the Russell running, we've been getting Boeing in that same scenario. And we actually started seeing bullish action pre-market yesterday in Boeing, which continued. Had a nice little sell-off yesterday morning, but then they had a really nice bid in Boeing the rest of the day. We have room in Boeing to move to the upside today if they want to. It's up basically a dollar, almost a dollar here on yeah, probably about a dollar here this morning on Boeing, but that does have room to catch a bid today as well inside the expected move. So if they want to keep these markets elevated, these are the names I think that they are looking at today. So I do want to point that out. So along that line there, okay, we're getting some action in Baidu pre-market here on my scan. So we'll just go through these real quick. Baidu, we are inside the expected move on that. 223, so it's actually come in. So they are selling it off. So China must have had a bad session. So that's not really a momentum name. Chewy, let's see what's going on with it. It's pretty much flat. Getting some volume early. It's right with inside the expected move on that one as well. So some little things I'm looking at here. They might be rotating in some of these names inside those expected moves. Boeing setting up on the 15-minute scan here. Uh, along with Citi. I didn't mention Citi earlier. Bank of America. Citi was not alerting yesterday, but it could be setting up here for something as well. That's actually undervalued relative to the other banks. See, we are below the week open, so there is a buy the dip opportunity here for Citigroup this morning. How about Bank of America here? BAC. Bank of America might be buy the dip as well. No. Okay, right here, well inside the expected move this morning. I have been watching your ASML, getting some positive comments out of Europe this morning. Things are improving. This is the semiconductor out of, so that's well within this week's expected move. Wow. Okay, taking a little bit of haircut this morning on that one. I had Lamb Research. I can't remember it. Lamb Research. Let me find it real quick. 1 second. Okay, so another one's really catching some interest this morning on the pre-market scans. That's your CCL. We are catching a little bit bid. Basically, it got overheated earlier this week, and it's already come in. And so this one here is one to watch here. As you can see, we went up over 100% on the expected move, okay, and it came right crashing back in here. So on these expected moves, you never have to expect things to come back in inside the expected moves. But my point is, in a bullish market, bullish tape, you don't really want to expect them to go above that 100% of the weekly expected move. Okay, so we're already at that's a 2 standard deviation. Okay, of what was expected. 1 standard deviation for the expectation. That's a 2 standard deviation. So that's generally the case. You don't ever anticipate a move beyond the 2 standard deviation. If you are in that situation coming into an expiration Friday, that's the time you want to be take some profits off the table. So one final takeaway on SPY: it is the best interest in the market makers to try to keep price at or near yesterday's open. So I do want to float that idea coming into today's session. I mean, at least into the afternoon hours. A lot of times they'll start letting prices float around 1:30, 2 o'clock as option premiums get destroyed. But knowing that we're already beyond the expected move today suggests to me that you're really not going to see a lot of momentum to the upside because we're beyond. It's not in the best interest of the market makers to do so. So they're going to want to destroy that premium in today's session, in my opinion. Uh, the remaining premium as much as they can, and then, like I said, a lot of those traders will start closing those positions around noon, around 11 and noon o'clock, and so keep that in mind. Uh, you are within the two standard deviation, thank goodness, but it's still not an ideal for the market makers. And you don't want to have week after week of blowing through the expected move, because what that happens is the market makers, if they're taking pain on these positions, they start pulling back on writing their options and giving liquidity to the options market. And as liquidity dries up, it becomes increasingly more dangerous for markets. So keep that in mind. We're already at the 50% of beyond this week's market maker move. So I can see them definitely trying to keep this under the 61.8. I mean, most market makers uh, basically they tend to write a lot of options up here, so those options are still out of the money. So it's in their best interest to keep tech down as much as they can today. So just keep that in mind. And then final take, uh, IWM. See how this is a bargain. You know, as far as option writers go, they can put this right back neutral for the week, and then both sides of the equation on IWM on a weekly basis get paid on the option writer standpoint. So basically, it's in their best interest to rally the Russell today, and that causes max pain for anybody who has had positions coming into the week. The max pain would be going back to neutral for the week. So I do want to point that out going forward. And my one final takeaway, your diamonds. You're still within your market maker move, expected move. They write those options generally outside of this top line here. So they can actually run the Dow today and pin the other indices. So I do want to point that out. IWM and the Dow, they can have room today, and it's not going to cause major pain to the option riders. Okay. So guys, like the video if you like it, please, and please retweet it on Twitter so we can get some more people watching these videos. And just pretty much from a option writer standpoint that I'm trying to give this ideas in today's session. Uh, so we'll see what happens by the end of the day. Please leave comments below, and if you guys want to join the trading room or something like that, just leave me like a message or something below, and I can get back with you or something. Okay. Thanks a lot, and I will see you probably Sunday's video.